So it seems like every time I'm done talking about Battlefield 2042, some new information comes forward that just makes me want to talk about it again. It's been a complete dumpster fire since release. And of course, every time new information comes out, it's never anything positive, right? You know, EA and DICE have done such a horrible job trying to revive this game that they can't even get positive headlines out there about the game anymore. In fact, it's still pretty much all inherently negative. Like, this is one of the first video games that I can remember that not only was completely a flop the moment it came out, but even the revitalization efforts, or in this situation, the lack of, continued to make news even months after the game released, right? Like, even Cyberpunk, I don't think, got dragged out this much. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be bashing on Battlefield 2042 again because, well, unfortunately, some plans have been leaked through data mining that show the true intentions, I think, of this game, that really show where EA and DICE's heads are when it comes to this game. You would think, right, with how bad Battlefield 2042 was when it released, and still is so terrible, right, that they would be in a mindset of, hey, let's sit down, let's fix the problems with this game, let's make it a product that is actually worth purchasing, and let's try to save the life cycle of this game. That's what you would think, right? Your first instinct as a game developer should be, hey, let's get this done, let's finish the job. But that is not what's going on here, folks. In fact, it is actually much worse what's going on here. And unfortunately, this is like the typical blueprint for video games these days. This is what just kind of happens, you know? Instead of working towards making the best game possible, it's just about how much money can we milk out of this. Is there a way to make this game even more profitable than it already was? And honestly, I mean, to a certain extent, I can't blame them for wanting to focus a little bit on monetization because, I mean, let's be real, no one's buying this shit anymore. They're probably just trying to recoup as much money as they can at this point, but this, in my opinion, though, is just blatantly unacceptable. So plans for Battlefield 2042's microtransactions may have been unearthed by data miners. Battlefield 2042 has been an incredibly controversial title since the time of its release. Just weeks prior to coming out, the game received a month-long delay that was then followed by a messy beta, giving some fans pause, but some had hoped the beta was an outdated build and wasn't reflective of what the final game would be. Unfortunately, the final game was just as bad, if not worse in some areas. Battlefield 2042 was slammed by critics and fans alike, resulting in one of the most chaotic launches on DICE's history, which is saying a lot. The game has received a number of patches over the last 5 months, improving various things, but it's still very rough around the edges. Sadly, it may be getting worse because data miner and Twitter user Temporal found various things that suggest Battlefield 2042 could be getting microtransactions. These files were found within the latest patch for the game and make mentions of bundles, cosmetic items, XP boosts, and more. While it could possibly be nothing more than menus for items already in the game, there is a more definitive discovery. The data miner also found new in-game currencies and different bundles, suggesting players will be able to buy in-game money soon. Of course, this could be a scrapped idea and was just left over in game files, but EA is known for putting microtransactions in many of its games. In 2021, a leaked Santa skin for Battlefield 2042 caused a lot of controversy, as many thought DICE was focused on releasing cosmetic items instead of fixing their game. It was later clarified that the skin was made months in advance and wouldn't be released to the public. So before we even go any further and start breaking down these new microtransactions that have been leaked, let's go ahead and take a second to all collectively chuckle a little bit about this, right? To just, you know, have a good little laugh, right? So it got leaked through the data mines, you know, I don't know if this was totally out of left field. I mean, it is EA, Electronic Arts to be specific here. The fact that microtransactions are coming to the game, it's like pigs rolling in mud at this point, dude. It's just kind of what they instinctually do, right? Birds fly, EA puts microtransactions in every fucking game that they make. I mean, come on now. It's pretty funny because it says, oh, it could be a scrapped idea and it could be just left over in the game files, but no, let's get serious here. This is pretty easy to debunk. First and foremost, if it was just leftover game files that is never intended to be put into the game, it wouldn't have showed up in the last patch. If this was stuff that they, you know, made before the game came out, this would have been prevalent the entire time, right? And data miners most likely would have found this a lot earlier. So it seems like it showed up in the game files pretty recently, which obviously a studio like EA is not just going to put something useless in the game files 6 months after the game came out. That just doesn't make sense. So on top of all that, we obviously know that Battlefield 2042 has been struggling. I mean, let's take a look at the current player counts on Steam, which I know I've loved to lean on these a lot, but About 30 minutes ago, only 2,500 people were playing, and this is a game that came out, 6 months ago. You know, it's a major franchise, right? In good news, though, in April 2022, they increased their player counts on average by 5% after posting 3 months of 60% declines and then one with 33% declines. So, you know, they're really digging back in here, folks. They're getting those players back. So, 2,500 people playing on PC just about 30 minutes ago through Steam, and that obviously shows a problem, right? Because nobody's buying this shit, right? Like, how many people do you really think have bought Battlefield 2042 after everything came out, after all the articles, after all the YouTubers have been dogging on it, after all the gameplay has been released showing the problems, right? After the community's basically up and abandoned the game altogether to the point that lobbies are mostly being populated by AIs and bots. They're trying to find a way to monetize it, right? They're trying to find a way to get that small community that just keeps hanging on for dear life, trying to find a way to get them to fucking swipe their credit card and spend some money, man. But I think this is going to be a colossal failure, and we're going to take a look, of course, right now at what has happened, what's been leaked and everything here, and talk about that. So, new category images for the Battlefield 2042 in-game store arrived with patch 4.0. Bundles, soldier weapon and vehicle cosmetics, XP boosts. Other files include 5 premium currency packages and tiers, weekly and bonus missions for the upcoming Battle Pass. You can see the picture there. The cosmetics, if we're being honest, look like a complete rip-off of Warzone. I mean, they are trying their hardest to steal Call of Duty swag with this whole thing here. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. They didn't even come up with anything fucking original when it comes down to what they made, you know? If you're gonna dick over your community and you're gonna flood it with microtransactions in a piece of shit game that no one wants to play in the first place, can you at least be somewhat original with it, you know? And I'm not even saying that, like, Call of Duty is original with what they do, but, like, dude, this is it's too obvious what you're doing. Like, oh, Call of Duty did well. Steal their shit. Like, it's embarrassing, guys. Come on now. But there are 5 currency packages in files. There are no actual data on prices, but COD is using similar values for packages, and the price structure there for 500 is $5, 1100 is $10, 2400 is $20, 5000 is about $40, and 13,000 is $100. I mean, that's a pretty standard pay thing for this, right? I mean, it's going to be somewhere in that ballpark, right? It's hopefully not going to be very much more. If anything, it could be less. That might provide a little more value to something that already has basically no value in the first place. I don't know, man. I'm trying to picture, like, who's going to buy this, and I'm just not seeing a clientele for it, right? Like, usually you release microtransactions in games that people are actually playing so that you can make money, right? But I guess in this situation, that's not what's important. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you wholeheartedly right now, there will never be a case in which I see a need to buy this shit, and I'm assuming that's the same with most of the Battlefield fans at this point. Like, no one cares about this, you know? Like, all this serves to do is ruin the reputation of the game more, you know? The few people, I should say, that have been waiting for updates for this game have been waiting for fixes. They've been waiting for you to fix the fucking problems and make the game worth playing. You have yet to really do that. It's been 6 months. Everyone who's rational at this point has given up hope. But now you're trying to nickel and dime the people who are actually fucking faithful to your franchise, already gave you their $60+ and got nothing for it. You're trying to nickel and dime them. It's so fucking embarrassing, man. Like, the people at DICE should be absolutely ashamed. There's nothing good about this whatsoever. You know, oh my god, I get to buy a fucking skin for my AR that 7 people on the planet will see when they're playing on this game's servers. Wow, guys. I'm hyped, man. I can't wait to go buy 13,000 Battlefield bucks or whatever the fuck they're gonna be called. It's just L after L for this game. I mean, what else can I say? Like, I get we're beating a dead horse at this point, but dude, I've never had so much fun hitting a fucking dead horse. Like, every week there's another piece of information about this game that just makes it look like absolute dog shit. That just is so embarrassing for this franchise. You look back at games like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Bad Company, even like Battlefield 1, man, and you look at where the Battlefield franchise has gone since then, and it's so goddamn sad, man. It's so depressing. I mean, I've loved Battlefield since I was a teenager, man. I've been playing for well over a decade at this point, and man, it's sad to say, but I don't see myself playing Battlefield in the future. Like, it's pretty much over with. I mean, if this is the direction the franchise is going, it'll be yet another FPS franchise that I completely have abandoned. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't want to participate in this shit. There's no purpose in buying any of this stuff. The very few people who still defend this game, I don't know how they can defend this. I'm sure there's a few people who could do some crazy mental gymnastics to get around this, but it's pathetic. I mean, there's really no other way to put it here. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, honestly just laughing at Battlefield for this one, and signing out.